Welcome to Bench Bosses and Brews, a podcast where your hosts will dive into the Johnstown Tomahawks Hockey, the junior hockey landscape overall, a look into other bench bosses and their ways, and as always, end with some random thoughts. Sit back and relax, maybe with a brew in hand, and let the Bench Bosses and Brew crew help pass some time.
All right, welcome. Welcome to our very first episode of Bench Bosses and Brews, our special podcast brought to you hopefully weekly here. And just to give you a general sense of the Johnstown Tomahawks and the Tomahawk Talk, looking ahead at the world with junior hockey, and ultimately, again, our favorite segment, some random thoughts that go out there. And you'll get us, again, giving you a sense of what brews we're drinking and our choice of week here. I'm Adam Hooley, host. With me, co-host Jeff Bolapont. Although you live with me, Jeff, I always say your last name wrong. It's pretty embarrassing.
All good.
I have with me our other co-host, Nick Mish. For the audience out there, I'll be moving forward calling Bo and Misher. But those are my two co-hosts. Misher, why don't you introduce yourself and give us a little background on yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So, born and raised in Johnstown, PA, home of the Tomahawks. Played AAA growing up in Pittsburgh for the Hornets as an 82 birth year. Left home when I was 15, moved to British Columbia, played 2 years juniors up there, and then was drafted by Erie, the Otters in the 13th round. And that's kind of where my career stopped. And then after that, went to college, and after that, started my own goalie school, ETM goaltending. So I've been doing that for full time for going on 12 years now. And yeah, that's about it. Service the Tomahawks going on year 7 as goalie coach and also as assistant coach. And yeah, that's about it. About it on me.
Bo, what about yourself?
Originally from Georgetown, Ontario, Canada. It's about 40 minutes west of Toronto. Played my youth hockey in the Halton region for the Halton Hurricanes AAA organization, and then played junior in the now OJHL for Brampton, Oakville, and Georgetown, and then played at Penn State University. Won 3 national championships there from '98 to '02. And then got out of playing and then right into coaching. Coached everywhere from Pee Wee B, which was my first job at the Mercer Chiefs, all the way up to the Southern Professional Hockey League with the Columbus Cottonmouths. So, and everywhere in between, pretty much. So it's exciting to be part of this podcast.
Awesome. I mean, I feel like everybody's story starts at B hockey. I know even playing days back in the day, that Squirt B year was like, you had to go through that to really become a hockey player, which I love. But to remind everyone, I'm Adam Hooley. Similar path, played all my life growing up. I guess I do have something similar with another podcast out there. I did win Quebec at the 88 birth year. So that was kind of my starting moment of going to the next level. I went to prep school for 3 years. From there, I went to Trinity College, played all 4 years. Did a little bit of minor pro, but similar, once that happened, life kind of hit, loans kind of hit, and you had to make some decisions. So I got into coaching full time. I was able to start with a good friend of mine on the New Jersey 87s and had a program built there for the last 8 years. We had a couple good championship runs, and we won a few. And then it culminated with getting the Johnstown job this summer, which was pretty important, and I was pretty excited. And even more excited now as I've been here to be the head coach and get started, down this path as well, which is really good. But love to have you guys on. I'm excited for where this thing could go. I think there's a lot of cool things. And with that, to me, kind of talk generally about what this podcast is going to entail. Obviously, we're bench bosses, right? We've all been coaches. We're all coaches together. But the last word of that is the brews. So we're obviously going to have a brew choice every week. And then we'll move into Tomahawk Talk, right? That's kind of where we are all together. And we've been together. So we'll talk a little bit Johnstown Tomahawks, and talk about the weekend, look ahead, get a little bit more in depth than our weekly coaches show. I think will be really good. We'll head to around junior hockey, right? Try to touch on some stories that are jumping, stories that are hot, maybe catch a few breaks here and break some stuff. I think that would be pretty cool as well. And then head into Coach's Corner, where I really am excited for. I love to hear from other coaches in other sports. I love the similar but differences among coaches and seeing what they do. And I really like the idea of taking sports and taking similar philosophies and merging them together. I have a lot of good friends in different sports, and I certainly am excited to get them on. I'm sure you guys got a great background, a Rolodex of coaches that will be able to hop on and give us a little insight as we go. And then, as everybody knows, our favorite part, is random thoughts, right? We love our random thoughts here. It can go from the wind to the weather to Mish running for mayor of Johnstown next year, hopefully. So hopefully, ultimately, we can kind of take an hour of your time and to our audience, sit back and enjoy, and give us a feel of what three guys right now are doing and, being bench bosses from there. But, I think it'll be pretty cool. I don't know what you guys' thoughts on that, but I think it'll be pretty fun to dive into those kind of topics right there.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Around the Junior. I think that there's a lot of podcasts out there that cover pro and sports and professional sports in general, professional hockey, and to be able to pull guys out of the different junior loops around the country or even North America, I think will be really insightful for our fans.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of podcasts that talk just about the outside looking in of junior hockey, but it's going to be fun to kind of dive into the workings of junior hockey and the inside scoops and everything else that we're able to cover being coaches in the leagues.
Awesome. Well, Bo, where we going next here?
I think it's Tomahawk Talk, Coach.
Tomahawk Talk, right? I think that's where we'll head.
Up next, Tomahawks, and more Tomahawks. It's Tomahawk Talk time. A look back at the weekend and a quick look ahead for Johnstown's favorite team, your Johnstown Tomahawks. Let's go!
Misher, why don't you lead us off a little bit? Give us a little insight to the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. So, little insight to the weekend. We ended up 1-1 with the Philly Rebels. Good hockey games. First game, we ended up losing 5-3. We were down 1-0 going into the second. Then it ended up being 3-0. We scored 3 unanswered to tie it up, and then eventually ended up with a 5-3 loss. But it was a good game, good learning moment for some of the players that were in. And then the second game, obviously, it was kind of a flip from the night before. Ended up winning 4-1. Shots were pretty close. I think shots were 27-24. It was just a good, hard-fought game, good battle throughout. Dealt with some adversity in that second game with penalties and PKs, and ended up finding one. I think it was our first goal on the power play, which is a good goal, and built off that and ended up taking the W for the second game. So it was a good win, good 2 points. And what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I was going to jump in and say, what was the biggest takeaway from Saturday? If you're a fan, what was the best part about that game? Gotta think.
Oh, the Big Mac attack. That's right.
Absolutely.
Huge goal by Marshall. Huge goal.
Listen, that might be
Pretty exciting.
could be his new nickname. I know he'll be pumped about that. The Marsh Man, or now the Big Mac Attack Man. I'd love to get a stat on that, Mish. We got to get a stat on that of how many times Johnstown has converted on the Big Mac Attack.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't know. Yeah, for people that don't know, in Johnstown during the game, our announcer London picks a time and throws up the Big Mac attack, which basically means if we score during that time frame, everybody in the arena gets a free Big Mac. So it gets heated. Fans go absolutely berserk when it does get converted.
That's too funny.
Yeah, there was a joke that it was the line might be wrapped around the McDonald's today and tomorrow this week. So hopefully they're ready for that onslaught because for
What's your
the
play
first
there? Do
time
you
we
wait
had
till the-
a couple almost 2,000 fans each night. So that's a lot of Big Macs.
That's a lot of Big Macs. What's your plan there? Do you wait for the next day, or you try to get out of there quick and get to McDonald's?
I think you wait. What's the time frame, Mish? Is it a week or is it
I
like 48 hours?
you know what? I don't know. I think it is a week. But I'm telling you right now, I'm starving after the games. I'm going straight to that drive-through. I'm not waiting in the line.
You are a big pretzel guy early if we don't have any food prior.
I need my snacks, man. I'm a grown
I hear
boy.
you. I hear you. But Bo, why don't you run into some key guys this weekend? I thought we had a couple players play really well, and I think that really kind of helped us. And I think the fans would recognize them. But I think we had a couple guys that played really, really well.
Yeah, I thought Jack Genovese coming off an illness Saturday night was a difference maker. On the penalty kill, I had the assist on the second power play goal that kind of gave us the additional insurance late to make it 4-1, and thought his presence on the bench helped. There was good energy. I thought Zach Ferris coming back after his his fight last week, just calming presence on the backside. Didn't show a ton of emotion, just all business, and earned another win for us. And then Nick Jarmaine, and Emerson, both boys there. They contributed both nights. But obviously Saturday was special. Jar getting I believe Jar got the game winner on the second goal there, going back door hard. I know I just saw it on Instagram being posted. So huge night from our leaders, our captain, and two of our assistants.
Yeah, to be expected, right? I think Jar has led tremendously well this year. Really impressive to watch his game taking the next level. I love number 6. I love Dingstrup's game this weekend. I thought on Saturday he was an X factor every time he was on the ice. And then I know the bench noticed it, but when he had that one wheel and he kind of lost the guy because he wheeled it so tight, really got us out of a jam and then led to an opportunity a couple seconds later down the road. So to me, that was a big part, and I was pretty happy with his game. I thought the lineup going in on Saturday performed really, really well. I thought Sunday we were a little flat. I don't think we can hide from it.
Right.
But I think Saturday I was impressed with that lineup. Came in, knew what they had to get done. It's tough losing at home here, right? Again, losing in general is tough. Losing, one game of 60. Again, at the end of the day, you measure it, but losing home hurts a little bit more. As you guys know, and Mitch, you've been here for years. It's just tougher because there's people here who are so passionate about it. Not doing that. And when you win, it's the best thing ever, right? There's no better feeling than being in the hallway after a win and everyone celebrating. So losing always stings a little bit more here. And I wasn't too happy with Friday and then Saturday. I think we hit the reset button pretty quickly, and we did pretty well coming out of the gate there, and I was pretty happy with it, so which is good. And then I heard, Mish, maybe you can comment on it. There seems to be a different buzz with the fans, right? I feel like there's a energy that everyone keeps mentioning that's been different, which hopefully, again, maybe it's our style, maybe we're off to a really good start in a sense. But I definitely feel from the bench the energy is certainly activating.
Yeah, I agree. I think the team this year seems to bring a lot of passion in their game and very energetic. They get into the little scrums after the whistles and stuff like that, which, we didn't have in the past and in some years. And I think the crowd really feeds off that, right? They feed off that passion, they feed off that energy and gets them fired up. And I mean, if you look back at the Veterans Weekend, just the energy in the building on that was absolutely insane. It was just, you could feel the buzz through that building that whole entire game up until like Bo, you mentioned the Ferris fight. It was electric. And I think Friday we were a little down. It didn't seem like the crowd was into it that much. I don't know if it was just a boring game in their mind, but then Saturday obviously came out. You could feel it. You could feel the energy. You can feel the buzz. The fans were lined up at the gate waiting for the players to come on the ice. And it was just, it was a different atmosphere for sure.
It was definitely, even the concourse was packed, right, Saturday night. It does create a different energy than in a lot of buildings where we play on the road. And I think that helps an away team come in and be energized and be like we're gonna shut this crowd up and we're gonna make this place feel like where a pin can drop and you can hear it. So I know I didn't say that correctly, but it creates a pro level environment. And I mentioned earlier, I was in the Southern Pro for a couple of years, and those were the types of crowds, 2, 3, 4,000, sometimes up to 7, 8,000 in some buildings in the SP. And that crowd, you want to hear a pin drop. You want them to go quiet when you're on the road, and when you're at home, you want to feed off the energy. And I think that's something that we have to, Coach, you alluded to it, Adam, that we have to figure out how to change that on Fridays. But Saturdays, it's been pretty electric.
Yeah, I think that's, to me, one of the bigger things. We mentioned it during the week is looking at our week, right? Looking at the practice week and seeing where we can make some minor adjustments just to get some more energy on Friday. And again, listen, to me, we are kind of the wonder of there's not many places where the away team is going to be walking directly past fans who are passionate, who are going to let you know. So you're going to be excited as a player. Why wouldn't you be, right? I'm excited just walking the concourse and smelling the popcorn, right? I think that to me gets me excited. But if you're a player, going through your pregame, you get to sit in the stands and watch these fans fill in for warm-ups, right? Like you're warming up in front of probably close to 1,000 before the game starts, right? And then when the game gets going, it builds to about 1,700, 1,800. That's pretty impressive. So for me, I think that's something we got to look at. We got to be better on Friday nights. I think we all know that. I thought we did a good job on Saturday of our execution of our game plan. I don't think to any surprise what we were trying to do offensively, and I thought we did a good job throughout the neutral zone, which was really impressive, and made some good in-game adjustments. But again, like that energy, I think I had Morgan kind of come up to me and kind of said, hey, we're good, because I was even getting into it a little bit because you get so passionate about it and you want to win here, right? That's it's infectious, and you don't want anything to go wrong. And certainly there's times I feel like I'm right, and certainly times I'm wrong, but I'm still going to argue like I'm right. And again, my wife will probably agree with that statement, so which is good. So
What do you think, Coach? Like, what do you think was the biggest adjustment that either you made or the players made Saturday compared to Friday?
I think from the start, watching video Saturday before the game, and literally 2 or 3 clips were things that we did in practice, and it looked like a practice that we run, and we watched it happen. And I think the guys, again, I know we beat the horse here on it, but I think seeing it and then being like, okay, this makes more sense now. It does work. I think that's what they have. This generation's different, as we all know, right? Some are, I think, Bo, actually, you said it best. Some are visual, some are sit down and talk, some are audio, everyone's a different learner. But I think collectively, when you get the whole group together, I think they need to see that as a bigger picture. I think we made that adjustment Saturday. Again, to no surprise, we like to go low to high. We like a better shot selection than just quantity. I don't know if some of the fans behind me love that idea, but certainly we want a higher quality shot versus the quantity. And I think Saturday we did that. I think our numbers were better than I thought on Friday, which made me excited for Saturday because we did match a lot of shot attempts, which was good.
Who was your biggest surprise this weekend?
Oh, that's a good question. To me, I was pretty impressed. Again, I go back to 6, but I think the expectation is he's always going to be good for us, and we need him to be good. Biggest surprise?
Or who do you think took a step forward in their game? Like we talked about
Question.
on our live show, like our coaches show, we've talked about maturity and in their games and learning to play mature games. Who do you think took a step, or maybe it was a line or a deep hitter? What do you
No,
think?
I think I'll go with 28. I think I'll go with Kirby. I thought Friday he was good, but Saturday I thought he played the way we need him to play all the time. He made simple, smart plays, and then he was elusive when we needed him to get pucks out. And I think with that D-core, when you can get those guys playing like that, that's the biggest difference. I love the sense of our locker room in between periods. I do think we got a great locker room setup. I think we have a good system in place. I trust the guys are taking what we say quite a bit to the heart, but I think I was really impressed with Perler's step. And I know he was a little frustrated with his point total right now, but I thought his game was exceptionally well and building to those chances. And I think it's just a matter of time before it really opens up for him.
I'd agree. I thought he was really good both nights, and even better Saturday than Friday night on the back end. One thing I did want to mention is congrats to former Tomahawk defenseman Andrew Cowgill on his first 2 USHL games with the Sioux City Musketeers. He played in both games this weekend, so congrats to Andrew there. And now we're going to hockey.
Next up, we're pouring into what's on tap. Junior hockey news. Your weekly flight of the biggest storylines, fresh updates, and the can't-miss moments from rinks across North America. Whether it's commitments, major moves, rising players, or the top teams heating up, we've got it served cold and straight to the point. Let's crack this open and see what's on tap this week in our Bench Bosses Breakdown.
What do you got for us, Bo?
So first topic, as most people probably, unless you've been under a rock in junior hockey, saw the awful match slashing penalty in the OHL from Luke Dragusica of the Brampton Steelheads. He was suspended for the remainder of the season and playoffs. I believe it's 48 games plus the playoffs, the biggest one ever in OHL history. Just thoughts on that to start us off.
Yeah, to me, I love it because I don't love the play, and I think ultimately you need to set the tone in discipline. Could I wave off that a little bit? I think I get it in the clip that I watched. He did take a couple hits right before that, that were probably questionable as well, and he kind of just let it go from that. But I'm someone, to me, am always going to rule on the strict side first and set the tone, because I think that will then eliminate future possibilities of people thinking they can take liberties. Now, again, I don't know him personally. I don't know. It could have been a lapse in judgment in the moment. And we've all been there, right? I think we've all been there before. But I'm always going to be the stern one. I think anyone that would ask about me would say I would lean on the stern side. Except if, my nieces or nephew do anything, then it's going to be jolly. They can do whatever they want. But from the hockey side, to me, I'm going to go stern on that. Mish, I don't know what your thoughts were.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. What was was there any talk about an injury that occurred with it? Was the kid okay? Because I honestly didn't really read too deep into the article.
Yeah, so the kid that took the infraction, sorry, not delivered it, but received the stick swing, actually was okay and played
But
the next game, which is a small miracle given the severity of the slash. It was pretty scary moment, and not only was there a splash, and then it was a cross check, kind of as he was going down as well. So. No room in hockey for that type of stuff. The fighting occurs. There are lapses of judgment, as you mentioned, Coach, but I think we can all agree that the sentence fits the crime, and the OHL, I think, did a good job of assessing the whole thing. I believe they are going to appeal, from what I read. We'll have to follow up once we see what happens, and there is a finality to it, but. I think it was
I
the
think
right
they should
suspension. There was a
appeal.
lot of discussion of 25 to 30 games. So you go 48 in the playoffs, you're talking, 50 plus, and I think that sends a clear message, especially with the new commissioner in the OH.
I think you do appeal though, right? And now put my hat on of the other staff, right? We don't know him personally, and maybe it was a quick lapse that hasn't happened before. And I do think we want to support these young men as well, right? We want to support them in times where they need to be corrected. And ultimately, I can now put the other hat on and say, yeah, I definitely would appeal, especially if it's someone that I felt had a minor moment of judgment. And I'm not saying I would ask for, something small, but I would ask that we try to teach him out of this and not completely eliminate his season, but make him understand that, our actions have, effects. And we got to be aware of that. So I'm glad to hear that you're hearing that they might appeal, which is good. I'll throw this one to you, Bo. I heard what's this latest thing I'm hearing about possible mergers out there? Obviously, the hockey junior landscape is crazy. Are you seeing anything on the CHL, the higher up of junior hockeys? What are we hearing? Are you seeing anything out there in literature about a possible merger?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk that the NHL met with the CHL leagues, the WHL, the OHL, and the Quebec Major Junior League or Quebec Maritime Junior Hockey League and the USHL to come up with a path for junior hockey at the major junior level moving forward, or major junior A. There is discussion of a merger. Nick, you mentioned in our kind of pre-podcast discussion or preparation that there was an LLC filed for the NJHL, so that may indicate that there is something moving forward with that. It will be very interesting because I think overall, with the NCAA rule change, it's really been a seismic effect in junior hockey overall, from major junior to the USHL to the North American League into the Tier 3 leagues like the EHL and the NCDC, the USPHL and other leagues in Canada, the BCHL. Like it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out over the next 2 to 3 years. And I think it's going to take that much time. I was wrong. I thought the rule change would be in 2 to 3 years. So don't hold me to it, but because it happened right away, it really happened in about 6 months from first hearing the rumor that it was going to happen. So it's been a year now, just over a year since that rule's been implemented, and hockey's still going. There's good hockey at all levels, and it's really for players. It's really understanding the levels and knowing where you are in your career and making the right decision for the right fit for your path, wherever that may be.
Where do you guys fall on where junior hockey is, right now? Like, obviously, there could be a big merger that would be the best of the best coming together. I know personally, I'm almost in favor. I think we got to condense the amount of leagues and teams that are out there and then just build the right steps underneath that to get to that point. So I'd love to see, again, across all landscapes, a condense. I think there is tremendous amount of hockey players out there, but I also think there's tremendous amount of different leagues, programs that just not doing a service right now to the player, and I think we need to get it back to a good spot. I'm not too happy with where overall junior hockey is right now. I'd love to see a condense where our best league incorporates everybody, right? It incorporates different regions and then underneath it's the next step, and then it's the next step, versus right now where everyone wants to claim they're this, they're that, this league's the best, this is the best. Why don't we just ultimately just say, hey, here's the best league that's out there right now?
Yeah, I think I've heard people say, do we go back to a strict junior A, junior B levels, junior C levels, or however you want to call it, because I think the 1, 2, and 3 in the U.S. anyway have really kind of been blurred. And then in Canada you have the major junior loops, and then you have all the tier 2 loops, other than the BCHL, who's no longer part of Hockey Canada. So it seems like a lot's in disarray, and it'll take a combined effort, I think, Adam, for the leagues to find the right model to be sustainable long term and to provide a good product for players. Like, ultimately, it's about the players and their path, not the organizations. And we want to see what's best for the players, ultimately, across the board, whichever league they decide to play in.
Yeah, I think we got to get it somewhere, and I think we need someone to take the reins of it all. It almost should be a summit of all the commissioners, and let's just get this thing figured out. Again, coming from my perspective of my experience and my rise to where I am now, again, I was a guy who felt really passionate about it. We knew who we were and what we were doing, and we didn't try to run from that. We didn't try to hide from that. It is a self moment of pumping the EHL, but I just felt like that league, we knew who we were. We knew what we wanted to do. In particularly with the 87s, we knew exactly what we wanted to get our players to. We talked to each player individually about what their goals are, so we knew, hey, you want to get to the North American Hockey League, here's the standard you're going to have to get to. And I just love to see every league kind of try to follow a more direct path. So as a consumer, you know what you're getting yourself into. I think that's a big thing, right? The parents that are hopefully listening to this or know, like, it is the Wild West out there. It is, the West movies back in the day where you will roll into town and you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what is true or what is not. It is a buyer beware, and I think that's not the greatest thing where we're at. And again, I don't mean to be super pessimistic on it, but I think the junior hockey world can do better, and I think we need our leaders to step up and take it and lead us into the direction that's going to benefit the players moving forward, right? I really do. I think we need that, and certainly feel pretty passionate about it needing to get better.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think you brought up a key word, and that's just leadership. Whether it's coaches, whether it's general managers, whether it's ownerships, everybody should be trying to pull that rope in the same direction. And that kind of leads us to our next segment, which is the coach's corner, and talking about what this segment will be about.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about this. To me, obviously we're bench bosses in the game of hockey, but I really want the coach's corner to evolve to different level of sports as well. Obviously, I want to get some different coaches in the hockey world, and we all have those coaches that can hop on, give a different perspective, give honest thoughts, give it an open platform where they can just speak their mind. But I also really want to dive into the different sports. And what I want to do is I want to learn, right? I'd love to hear from a coach about their game day preparation. What do you do in that? And like we talked about, Bo, right? Like you have a Friday, Saturday match in basketball or soccer, or, what are you doing if you feel your team is not performing or doesn't have the energy? What does your sport look at to do? What do you guys do? What do your practices look like at different sports? We have a pretty structured practice. When do you break down into different things? I know in basketball, there's a lot of times where they'll break down into 3-throw lines and go into skills. And I like doing that in our practice. Just stop it. Let's go into skills real quick. So I'm really interested to see the coach's corner part evolve to that. I'm pretty excited about that. But, Mitch, I'll put you on the spot here. If you had to get a coach on now, who do you think you're going to turn to if you had to get him on the corner right now?
Man, that's a good question. I think you got to go, from the collegiate ranks, I'd love to talk to Guy Godowski, pick his brains from Penn State. I think he would be somebody, he's been in the game for a long, long time, especially at the D1 level. That'd be a good one. Schooley from RMU. He's been at Robert Morris since the inception of them. I think I don't know how many years, but I would have to say it's probably in the teens or 20s since that program's started, and he's been the leader there. Yeah, those are two just off the top of my head, just at the collegiate level. Obviously junior, there's a ton in OHL and pro, but I think at the collegiate level, I think those two would be a fun talk.
Bo, who do you got?
My first instinct was college as well, but I'm going to go off the board. I'm going to go into midget U18 and have like a Mike Casale or an Alec Theta, Brian Burke from Honda, or Casale from Junior Flyers, how it's impacted them, the rule change. We just talked about it, and maybe how it's impacted the youth levels, or a Dave Kosick out of Pittsburgh and the Asmark Stars, who have been around. These guys have been around a long time. John Roger, who has been at the different levels, guys that have coached at a lot of different levels, and getting their perspective on the things you just mentioned, Adam, but also where they see the world going, the hockey world going from maybe the midget levels up through junior, and how the challenges they face to get their kids into junior hockey. Whether that's, again, at the EHL, North American League, USHL or higher. So, how does it impact them? I think that would be an interesting question, and how they're dealing with it. The other side is it as an advisor or getting an agent like a John Jose Tutu, and talking agent stuff, and how they prepare their players, or what they're looking for in players, so that they can promote and help players move to those next levels. I think that those discussions would be interesting as well.
Yeah, I think from my spot, which might be a cool little segue into the different part of the coach's corner, right? From the hockey side, obviously, to me, I think one of my best friends is one of my partners from the 87s is Matty. I'd love to get him on. I think he's a brilliant mind of the game, and he knows it from all aspects. Obviously, I'm very close to Chris Sorrell at the Avalanche, who has put numerous players into college. But I'm going to go way off the board here. I'm going to go a different sport, someone that I watched during March Madness quite a bit, and this is going to be a crazy name, and I don't even know if he'll never hear it, but I would love to bring on the show Shaka Smart. I think he's a brilliant, brilliant coach. He's taken over programs where he's done very well. He's passionate on the basketball court. He's always engaged. I love that tenacity that he brings. I think that's someone I'd love to do. So maybe I let you guys do the hockey guys in the corner, and I'm going to bring a different sport onto the corner and surprise you guys every week of a different sport and see what we got for that. But I think that would be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. So hopefully next week we'll get started there. Before I finish my beer, I think it's time to go over to the Brews Choice here, go over each other's picks for this week, and see what we got going this week. So with that, let's head over to Brews Choice and see what we got.
It's that time. Brew time. Just when the day ends, the sky darkens. You sit back on the couch and crack a cold one. The moment you can finally exhale. Brew time. Here is this week's picks from our bench bosses.
Misha, you want to start us?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, boys, cheers
Cheers.
to a first podcast. My beer, I just picked it up at the local Sheets here. Figured I'd just run in and just grab a random pack. So mine is from New Trail Brewing Company out of Williamsport, PA. It's the Hazy IPA. It's good. It's 7%. It's real citrusy, almost like it's kind of like a lemon or an orange taste to it. It's got the normal IPA background taste too, like a piney type taste. It's good though. It's not bad. I'd probably give it, if you're looking for just like a general beer, just to kind of taste during the day, just kind of hang out. I'd probably give it about an 8. It's pretty good.
Listen, I'd get into your random taste of the day at a 10%er. That's a smack you in the face one right there. I think that one is. My question to you would be: is that face is getting watered, right? You start to feel it with the anything over 7% now for me. I mean, I used to love the higher ones, but that packs a punch. But again, listen, maybe you got the night off and putting the kids to bed, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at my old age, it's like 1 or 2, and then it's off to bed.
Yeah. As I say that, I look at my beer before we go to Bo for your beer. I'm drinking from a local brewery back home, Kane Brewing. I'm having an Overhead, which is an IPA as well. That clocks in at 8.2. So tomorrow, might feel it in my head a little bit, but honestly, very tasty. You can sip on it, and like you said, very citrusy. It's a one and done in my mind. Kind of sets the tone, right? It kind of just levels you out, and you can enjoy it. You can have a good conversation like we're having now. I'd give it about a 7-8 to 8. It's pretty good, and I love Kane and what they do. They come out with a lot of good stuff all the time, and it's close to my home when I'm back home in Jersey. So spend a lot of time over there. So pretty impressive on my front. It's got a good color too. I don't know for those who aren't going to be listening. I'm a big color guy. Again, to me, it's visually appealing. I'm going to enjoy it as well. Again, call it the I don't even know, the placebo effect, right? But I'm going to be someone who's a fan of how it looks. So again, for me, that's Kane, and it's called Overhead. It's a pretty good name too. It puts you right over the head, so it's perfect. What do you got?
Yeah, I've got the Southern Tier Brewing Company out of Lakewood, New York. My wife's from upstate New York, so do tend to migrate to those types of IPAs. It's actually one of the exclusive ones that came in the 15 pack Lakeshore Fog. So it is a hazy slash juicy IPA, 6.5%. So I'm the lightweight of the three of us tonight, but really smooth. I think it's more of a winter beer. I usually drink the Southern Tier stuff in the summer on a nice warm summer day, but this one's pretty good. Not heavy. It goes down pretty easily, and it's got that a little bit of citrus, but not so heavy that it's that you feel like you're drinking like a lemon lime juice. So I'd probably give it about a 7.5. I think it's pretty good.
All right, well, not bad. I think and I wanted to get that segment done before, as I drink, everyone's like, "Hey, that glass is gone already." That's going to be pretty quick, which is good. But hey, let's go to my favorite time of the night, or favorite time of the podcast, and certainly on the coach's show it is. But let's go over to our random thoughts, where again, to me, we can bounce from anywhere from weather to I don't even know where you can go with random thoughts. But I'll get us started. I'll let you guys think a little bit. My random thoughts this weekend: my wife and her birthday. I hit a milestone and was pretty happy. I had all my kids here. Jake came in from Chatham after the weekend. We had a family dinner, which, as you guys know, in this time is a little far and few between. So it was really nice to reset and have everyone go around the table. And my little guy Hudson is a very passionate one, and he came up with the game probably almost a year ago. We go around the table and say one good thing and one bad thing of the day. And I think that moment is pretty nice to kind of sit back and go with. And then again, this life is too short, so it's nice to have those family moments there. And then my outlier, maybe this podcast will get the Mish for Mayor campaign really started. Maybe it's been generated. We can use it as a platform and get that moving to that. Listen, if I really decide to reside here, maybe we put it on the platform here. I think we got some good opportunity here in Johnstown, and I'm excited to be a part of it. But as someone who's been born and raised here in Misher, I think it's almost your civic duty to step up and get on that ticket.
There we go.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
certainly for mayor. But again, those things are on top of my mind. We got a big week ahead. We all get home from Thanksgiving, and then we're in Jersey. And Jersey's playing really well, so I'm excited to get going after a good weekend and get to work tomorrow. But we'll see how those things go. Misher, what do you got?
Yeah, just on topic of Thanksgiving, I'm really excited. Get a little bit of a day off just to kind of reset. We don't really get many of those days in the hockey world, but it's going to be nice just to spend some time with family and hang out with the kids and hang out with the family and eat a lot of food, watch some football, and just relax. So my biggest thing is, I'll ask you guys a question. So, what is your go-to on Thanksgiving Day? Is it the deviled eggs? Is it the turkey? Is it the ham? Potato salad, mac salad, mashed potatoes and gravy. Like, what's your go-to, boys?
I
What's your
kind of feel
favorite?
like you gave your choice away there. I think you're a deviled egg
I
guy.
mean, I named about every single food you could possibly have. So, I mean, I'm going to go deviled eggs, though. That's my all-time favorite. Love me
Yeah, I
some
was
deviled.
gonna say that one. That's not on the Hooli platform. I can tell you that. I guess my go-to is I don't know. Bo, you asked me the other day. I'm a dark and I like the skin. That's my go-to. But I also like the post-day Thanksgiving after a couple beers and wine in. The next day, waking up and knowing you got some leftovers. So I'm almost a
Oh, yeah.
post-day Thanksgiving guy. Knowing you can heat it up like a panini. That makes me get it through the
Yep.
morning.
There you
But
go.
I'm a dark meat guy and a skin guy. I don't know about you.
I definitely don't turn down a good devil's egg. That's definitely like a pre-meal go to. I think in meal it's the stuffing right out of the bird. I think
Oh,
that's the best, better than the store bought, the homemade stuffing right out of the bird. I think would be my number one. And actually, Ferris and I were talking about how good like your sweet potato, like a sweet potato and marshmallow with brown sugar.
yeah. Yep.
Is and you really
Marshmallow.
only get it on Thanksgiving, right? Like I think it's the I think it's the limited amount that you get of these things that make it so good. Maybe not good for you, but good to eat at least on that day.
All
Yep.
right, what do you got for us?
All right, I have two. The first is I was thinking the other day about you don't realize how many people are involved with like the production in Johnstown, right? Like it would just kind of hit me like there's there's our announcers, Rick and Ed. There's Drew's upstairs doing live, social media posts or website posts or Facebook posts. You've got all the people in the media room, in the media center upstairs, the ushers, Charlie doing the chuck-a-puck and the 50-50, and you have all the concession people. The people that make our game day run is crazy. So I wanted to say thanks to all those people. Obviously during the week of Thanksgiving, the time they give up on a Friday, Saturday weekend. And the second one's completely separate and off the board. Grocery shopping. I do a lot of it for our family. What day is the best day to go grocery shopping? Like,
Cool.
like sometimes I go Sunday, sometimes I go Monday morning, Monday afternoon when I'm home, or in the summer, like a Thursday or Friday. Like Friday's crazy. Like, do you guys do some of the shopping, and when do you
Oh,
typically go?
Today
it's a
was, I'll
great
tell you
time.
what, I went up to Walmart today. It was insanity. Insanity. My wife goes in, does the stuff. I can't handle it. I just sit in the car with my son because it's too much. I
Well,
do
Mitchell,
the Walmart order pickup, the pickup order. That's
There
yeah,
you
my go.
go.
Mitchell, we talked about that, right? And well, I think my wife's gonna laugh at this one because she'd tell you no day is good to go because she's just a big order and get it delivered. That's it. Life of convenience, and I'm like, listen, I learned to appreciate it because it does help in times where you can't get to the store or you just don't feel like getting there. It also hurts when you got to pay the convenience fee of the delivery fee and this fee and that fee. But I think that's a big thing. My dad growing up was a big go to the grocery store guy. He would do it probably about 7 o'clock at night when the day was kind of over. And I remember I was a kid always standing on the cart, just relaxing and chilling. So I think he would have a better answer. Maybe I'll ask him when I talk to him what days he's always thought was the best days to go.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
curious. like I said, I do it for that part right there. What your dad said, or what your dad used to do it for, or does it for, is that relaxation piece. I think, I go up and down every aisle. Like my wife thinks I'm nuts. It doesn't matter if I need something down the aisle with like sugar and flour, and it's got like the baking stuff. I still go up and down. You never know what's gonna pique your interest. What was that show called, Supermarket Sweep, way back in
Oh
the day?
yeah,
Like
yep.
that was an awesome show. Maybe like weather and groceries are my passions, I guess. I don't know.
I got one more because I think, Bo, you'll get a kick out of it. And those who don't know, me and Bo live together. So we live together here in Johnstown, and pretty happy I got the shower drain unclogged. I felt really good about it. I worked at it with the Drano and
I
oiled
love it.
some
I love it.
water, but was really excited when it went down pretty smooth, which has been good. But listen, I think we did a good job. I'm excited for where this podcast can go. I love the ability to kind of be able to talk and shoot the shop a little bit and bring people on. And again, I know on my drives home from Johnstown, I'm a big podcast guy because it helps me get through. And just to hear general conversation, and I think we got a lot of good segments. We'll keep people excited about it, interested in it, hopefully make a laugh, but ultimately just get you through 45 minutes to an hour of your day of hey, this is something that I want to look forward to listening to. So I know from my end, guys, I'm pretty excited where this thing's going to go, and I'm really excited for next week and our second episode. But fellas, obviously, thank you for hopping on, and I look forward to us getting together next week, and certainly for the random thoughts, which is usually my favorite. But I look forward to talking to you guys next week, and hopefully we have a good week this week.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow at practice.